Greetings and salutations. I'm America's R&B historian, Tyrone Dubois. And my friends, you're watching the one, the only, The Cindy Davis Show.
I'm Cindy Davis Evans of The Cindy Davis Show. My guest today is here to share about his experience with COVID-19. He was unsure if he would live or die, but by the grace of God, he is still here. Welcome, Houston native, historian, producer, and well renowned photographer, Mr. Ferrell Phelps. How are you?
I am much better than I have been.
Yeah.
So I'm very thankful for that, needless to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say welcome to the Cindy Davis Show, and it's such a pleasure to have you here, and such an honor to have you here and to share your story. First, I want people to get to know who you are, just in case they don't know who you are, where you're from, and what do you do.
Okay. Well, my name is Ferrell Phelps. I am a celebrity photographer here in the city of Houston,
Yeah.
and I've been doing that for well over 30 years now. And that's pretty much what I do. And of course, all of that was thwarted recently with everything that took place with me.
Yeah. How did you even get started with photography?
Years ago, I used to work at a Target store, and I worked in the jewelry department, so I was in the front of the store at the time, and I would always see these beautiful ladies come in the store, man, and I'd be like, wow, she's really pretty. I bet if she just like did her hair this way or changed that way, she would just really look great. I would visualize things before I ever, whatever.
Wow.
And so it just that's kind of what was the thing. And one of the managers in the department where the cameras were, had shown me some of his work and had gotten me kind of interested in photography. And I'd always been, but this kind of just really ignited something. So I was able to get a clearance camera for $35. Yeah, $35. At that time. And I just began to take pictures of all of my friends, my family, everybody. And I just gave the pictures away, for free, just to, because I was so excited about what I was doing. And as far as the celebrity part came in, one day I got a phone call to photograph an actress at the time. Her name was Delta Burke. The show was Designing Women back in the day.
I remember
and she
that.
was my, do you remember that?
I remember, Designing Women.
And she was the first celebrity that I worked with. And from there, it went on to Destiny's Child and Kelly Price and so on and so, Shaquille O'Neal, just a lot of different people after that. And so that's kind of how my career developed. And I do everyday work as well. Families, fashion, all these types of things. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. That's amazing. You've had an amazing journey.
Yes, I'm very thankful. Very thankful.
Yeah. So, we just want to talk about your experience with COVID-19. I guess I want to start out with asking, were you vaccinated?
I was not. And I was about to get vaccinated, actually, when everything had taken place. I had a photo shoot on a Friday, and on, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I got a text message saying, go get tested for COVID, because the client that had come in on Friday had gotten sick Saturday night and was rushed to the emergency room. And I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking, no, I don't have it. Although I was feeling really kind of odd and had this thing in my throat where I just couldn't get rid of it. And I'd also almost lost my voice on Saturday as well. So I'm like, well, I don't know. Let me just go and get tested, right?
Yeah.
I went to get tested and found out I was positive for COVID. And I really felt like, I'm okay. I'll quarantine for 14 days. I'll go to an extended stay hotel and I'll just chill and everything will be fine.
Right.
Totally not the case. As you well know at this point. And my incredible girlfriend, she was just like, no, you're not going to an extended stay. You're going to just come here and, I'm going to take care of you and da-da-da-da. And I'm like, no. She's like, no. She really put her foot down. And because she put her foot down, I'm here to tell you this story.
Wow.
About what happened,
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. We need friends like that in our lives, right?
Yeah. Lord, yes.
Yes. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Is there what was your reason? Here in Houston, there are so many people who are still on the fence about getting vaccinated. Why didn't you get vaccinated?
Well, I was planning to get vaccinated. And initially I was on the fence. And at the point that I'd made up my mind to do it is when all of this happened. And as it relates to being on the fence or not having it done as quickly as others may have had it done, I did have reservation.
Yeah.
I did have skepticism. I definitely knew about other things that have happened in the history with African-American people, particularly, that certainly caused people to have reservation about this thing. But as we think about that, Cindy, you do understand that it's not just affecting African-American people.
Absolutely.
It's affecting the world.
Yes, think about it. Yeah.
Yes, toward Black men, it is the world, Black, white, and other, everybody. So, we have to look at it from a real perspective, and not at this time from a historical perspective. And that's what's kept a lot of African-American people from actually getting the vaccine. And I do understand the rationale, but on the flip side, I also look at what's happening in the world with everybody.
Yes. So how did it affect you?
Man, that's a long, how much time you have?
Yeah,
that's I'll tell you how it affected me. Number one, as everybody probably know, I became extremely ill. And I didn't realize I was as ill as I was. And just to kind of give you more of the story, I was diagnosed March 28th of this year. And by, March 28th
of this year, 2021.
Yes.
Okay.
March 28th. And upon being diagnosed, I thought I was okay, like I told you before.
Yeah.
And that was on a Sunday. So Monday, Tuesday. By Tuesday, my temperature was through the roof. My head began to hurt so bad. Like I've had a million headaches in life, but this was beyond my normal headaches. And so we were doing, Cindy, what everybody told us to do as far as the medical professionals are concerned. Yeah. I was already on a Z-Pack from the doctor when I'd originally got the diagnosis. And so I began to think that, okay, well, in a few days, it's going to kick in. I'm going to get better. Z-Packs, let me just say that. It does not affect the COVID virus. It does not help you.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's a misconception, but it does not help you. I'm a living witness. Okay.
Yeah.
And so I was hoping that after 4 or 5 days, it would, kick in, I'd be better, whatever. I progressively got worse. The headaches got worse. The temperatures continued. So I was between Advil and Tylenol. Advil for the headaches, Tylenol for the fever. And so about the 9th day, Cindy, into this journey, I was really, really bad at this point. But just thinking, okay, I'm going to get better. And my girlfriend was talking to one of her friends, pleading with her to get the test, to get the, not the test, but to get the vaccine because of what she was experiencing with me.
Oh, okay. Was she tested? Did she test positive as well?
No, and that's the thing too that I would like to make a good point about,
Yeah.
as you bring it up, and I'll come back to where I was.
Okay.
She was actually vaccinated. My girlfriend was vaccinated,
Mm-hmm.
and had gotten both of the shots, and
Oh.
so because of that, uh, we felt a certain level of comfort with her taking care of me and helping me in this process.
I see.
And she helped me throughout the entire journey. She became my nurse.
Wow.
And she's been tested, I think 3 times since that time,
Okay.
just making sure that everything's okay, and everything has been fine for her, thank God.
Oh, thank God for
Um,
that. Yeah.
yeah, thank God. And
Mhm.
so on about the 9th day of her caring for me and pleading with her friend, to please get vaccinated because of what she was experiencing with me, her
Yeah.
friend said to her, my husband, Daryl, has a friend that is a doctor that has helped many people with COVID.
Wow.
And so we got connected to that doctor immediately,
Mm-hmm.
through telecommunications with him.
Mm.
And he gave my girlfriend instructions on everything to do for me by phone. So
Wow.
she basically became my nurse in home.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Oh,
the
okay.
bedroom became a hospital room. And
I
at this
see.
point, I did not know that my oxygen levels were as low as they were. I
Yeah.
just knew I had no energy. And so
Yeah.
as we began the process of everything, and with the diagnosis from the doctor, which was the most shocking diagnosis that anybody can get, um, that's when I actually discovered that I was literally dying in that moment and at that time, and I didn't know it.
Wow.
And so he told me just point blank, I don't know if we can save you because you are literally dying. You're on your deathbed, literally, right now.
Wow.
And oxygen was ordered in. We got oxygen. Then we had this other machine that zaps all the bad stuff that's in the air, the free radicals and things that are in the air,
Okay.
and everything. I began to take a really strong cocktail of medicines that were prescribed by the doctor. And eventually I began to, over a period of time, I began to get a little bit better, and then a little bit better after that. I had difficulty walking.
Yeah.
I would go from the restroom, the bed to the restroom, and I'm totally exhausted. No
Yeah.
energy, nothing,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and I didn't know I was as bad off until I got under the doctor's care. And when he got all of my numbers, that's when he knew that that was it for me. Um, so I just like, whew, you know,
Wow. Yeah.
and so I began to tell everybody what I needed, as far as my funeral services were concerned, and my, um, what I wanted to be done, that my final wishes, really, for what I wanted to be done, because of the fact that that was it. I was dying.
I'm so sorry to
And
hear that. Wow.
yeah,
Yeah.
it has really been a horrible journey, if I'm going to be totally honest with you. The doctor told me immediately, I don't want you to go to a hospital, period.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And what I didn't know, and what I later found out, was the next the next step for me was actually to be incubated in the hospital.
Okay.
And I didn't find that out until afterwards. And I guess they didn't want to frighten me or scare me. So, but once I'd come out of it, that's when they told me that part of it. But
Hmm.
yeah. So it's been a crazy journey. One of the other things too, Cindy, that people don't really talk about, you don't hear much about, is the nightmares that come along oftentimes when you have COVID.
Oh, wow. What kind of nightmares did you have?
Oh, just uh, like floating heads and voices in your head.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
I mean, it was horrible. When I tell you, it was
Yeah.
horrible. It was horrible. It was so bad for me that
Mhm.
I actually became afraid of the dark, and when nighttime came, I could see the sun going down. I was fearful. I was afraid because I knew I would be haunted by these nightmares every night, every night, every
Oh
night. So
my God. That is a
yeah,
horrible, horrible thing to go through right there.
yeah. And I began to sleep with like the bedroom door open or the bathroom lights on, so that I can get light, because I didn't have as much fear if I could see something,
Yeah.
at night when I was trying to. And then another thing too, I didn't sleep for 2 weeks.
Wow. You didn't sleep for
So
2 weeks. So were you afraid to sleep because of the nightmares?
I wanted to sleep because of the nightmares. I wanted to sleep so well that I didn't know anything was going on.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wanted to sleep, because the crazy part about this is, and nightmares is the best way that I could describe it. But these were nightmares while I was awake.
Really? No, I have not heard anything about that. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, I was fully awake. Yeah,
Wow.
and you think nightmare, you think sleep naturally.
Yeah.
But no, this was when it became dark is when the voices would come.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How did you deal with that?
I was really afraid to even say anything about it, because I'm like, people are gonna think I'm crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I finally did. And what was interesting about that is that once I began to talk about this and share the story, so many people that have COVID told me the exact same thing.
Really?
That they had experienced the exact, and I'm just like, are you kidding me? So it wasn't just
Wow.
me, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my
And
God.
yeah, definitely. Really, really. Um, I don't know where this thing came from. I believe it's man-made, Cindy.
Mhm.
Whatever it
Yeah.
is awful. It is the
Yeah.
worst. It is the worst thing ever, ever.
Wow. No, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. That
I
is a
know.
horrible thing to go through. And I wouldn't even, anybody who gets it is like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
And another thing too, Cindy, I wanted to share with you, because of the condition of my body
Okay.
from the exposure to COVID and having COVID, at this time, I cannot even get the vaccination because of what's happened with my lungs. Basically,
Wow,
my
you
body,
can't even get the vaccination at this point because, well, what
because of,
happened?
because
What
of the
happened?
pre-existing damage to my lungs from COVID, my
Okay.
body really isn't healthy enough to even take the vaccine.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, and that's something that a lot of people don't know about my journey right now. And they just see me and think I'm fine and I'm healthy and I'm up and I'm at them, and I thank God for it. Trust me, I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
But at this time, I can't take it. And for me, I have to be extremely careful. I mean, like, you see me now, but if you saw me anywhere else, I'd be masked up. I'm in the studio. I'm alone by myself. Nobody's here.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I have my mask on and I keep it on at all times, because I'm very vulnerable to something happening and I have no kind of defense whatsoever.
Wow.
Yeah.
What other conditions did it leave you with?
Okay. Yeah. Well, unfortunately, I had 4 blood clots in my lungs. I had double pneumonia. And I also, after the fact of after having all that, my breathing is challenged at different times. I'll give you an example. We were going to one of our friends was having a gathering, and she lives on the 3rd floor. And Sonia and I were going to the 3rd floor, and I was carrying a watermelon up the 3rd floor, which is no big deal for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm fine. I'm going up the stairs. I'm forgetting about all my breathing issues. I'm just like feeling like normal Ferrell again. And by the time I got to the 3rd flight of stairs up to her unit,
Yeah.
my breath just left.
Wow.
And I had to, a friend of mine brought me out a chair to sit down, brought me water to try to get me together. I just had to sit and breathe and catch my breath. Something
Yeah.
like that normally for me would be nothing. I'm
Yeah.
an athletic person. I ride my bike.
Yeah.
I work out, And so many people also have the misconception that if you work out or you're a physically fit person or whatever, that you won't get it because you're healthy. That is so not true.
Right.
It's
Wow.
not true. No.
Yeah. It doesn't discriminate, does it? It doesn't matter what color, creed, or whether
It does not. It does not
healthy or
discriminate.
not. Yeah.
Yeah, it does not discriminate. And one of the scary things that happened for me, my sister and I, my sister,
Sheila.
Sheila, yeah, she and I take care of my mom. And on that Saturday, before I got the text message to go get tested, I had just given my mom a hug and a kiss on the forehead, and then the next day I get this message about what happened on Friday. So you can
I
imagine
can
the
only
panic,
imagine the panic. Oh my
the
God.
panic, the
Yeah.
panic. I was so scared. It's like, okay, I can deal with whatever I got to deal with. And if I die,
Yeah.
but to have given something to my mom and thank God
Thank
she
God.
did not get it. She and my sister both went to get tested. They
Thank
did not,
God.
they did not get it. And they have since gotten vaccinated because they were on the fence
Yeah.
about getting vaccinated. But once that happened, they
Yeah.
went ahead and they did get vaccinated, and I'm very thankful that they did, and all of that. So yeah,
Oh
it's
my.
really something, really
It
something. And
really is.
along the journey, one of the things that happened, Cindy, that I told you I was on oxygen 24 hours a day, at the highest level of oxygen you could take, 5 liters.
Wow.
And one night while I was resting, the oxygen machine malfunctioned
No.
and cut off.
Oh my God. What
And
happened?
it was something with the technicality of the machine. And so if you can imagine laying there helpless
Yeah.
and depending on a machine to keep you alive and
Yeah.
if you can imagine what that felt like in that moment where that machine shuts off at like 1 something in the morning.
Wow.
And of course, I'm trying to close my eyes and stay as calm as I can, because getting upset in that moment would have only escalated my my inability to breathe on my own, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Because had you panicked, yeah, you would have exerted
Yeah,
your energy.
right. And I had to be cognizant of that
Mhm.
and aware of it enough to try to take little bitty short breaths so that I could keep breathing until Sonia was able to get the machine functioning again. And she worked feverishly to get it. She is so incredible. I mean, just
Wow. What would
I
you
can't
like to
even.
say? What would you like to say to Sonia right now?
I say it to her all the time. She's probably
Yeah.
tired of me saying it. Just like, I wouldn't be alive if it wasn't for you.
Wow. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she put her life on the line for me, to take care of me and to
Yeah.
keep me here. And she became my around the clock nurse.
Wow.
Around the
That
clock,
means a lot.
every 3 hours, 4 hours, she had to check my oxygen levels, my blood pressure,
Yeah.
my fever, and this is with the doctor talking to her on the phone, telling her exactly what to do every step of the way.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that, exactly what was the doctor saying, for those who may be listening and or at home and don't want to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that they need to know, being at home?
Yeah. Number one is to monitor yourself. Make sure you're checking yourself. Make sure you're aware that if you have a fever that's taking place. And one of the other things that's really, really important, and a fever is not an indicator of COVID. Let me be clear on that, because so often you see people in different offices and I do it here as a precaution. Take temperatures. Temperatures don't tell you everything. Let's just be real.
That's true.
You
Yeah,
can have COVID and be asymptomatic. You can have COVID,
that's
not
true.
even have a fever at all.
That's true.
So this temperature check thing is what it is, but
Yeah.
it's not. I have to be real about that.
Yeah.
but you getting yourself checked, you getting yourself tested,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and if you do have it, it's important that you know what your the blood levels are in your oxygen. That is
Yes.
very, very crucial to know, and it's called an oximeter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's oximeter.
Right.
And you put it on your
It
fingertip.
measures the oxygen in your body, and you can get it, anywhere, Amazon or Walmart.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Exactly. And you put it on your fingertip, and it'll
Okay.
measure what your oxygen levels are. That's very important because
And
if
the
it goes,
oxygen level shouldn't get below what?
it shouldn't get below 90.
Okay.
You know, I mean, it shouldn't, it can drop. And when it starts dropping, then you know you're in trouble. But if it's even low 90s and you have COVID,
Mm-hmm.
you need to be aware that
Yeah.
you know it to seek medical attention or medical advice from professionals. Don't just sit in your house and thinking you're okay and you're dying.
Yeah.
I had no clue for myself when we were doing the self-care up to 9 days
Yeah.
that there were 4 blood clots literally in my lungs. Any one of those blood clots could have went to my heart and killed me.
Absolutely. It was
You
only the
know,
grace of God that kept you.
only only the grace of God that kept me. And you know, when you
Wow.
go through when you go through an experience like this and you see so many other people passing, you know, it's like, okay, God, what is my purpose? You know,
Okay.
you
Okay.
saved me for, you know,
Uh-huh.
um,
Right.
and I do believe that a part of that purpose is to share this message um, on platforms and things of that nature to try to help somebody along this journey because it's killing our people.
Yeah. What would you say to those who are still on the fence about getting vaccinated?
To those that are still on the fence about getting vaccinated, I would say 2 things. Well, I'll say 3 things.
Okay.
Let me see. Yeah, 3. There we go. Um, we all have choices.
Yeah.
Okay, we all have choices. I can't make you do anything you don't want to do. It's your body. You have the right to your body. Okay, number
Mm.
1. Number 2, you don't want to get vaccinated? Don't get vaccinated. There's consequences, or it could be consequences. You're
Yeah.
playing Russian roulette. All right. And thirdly, if you choose not to get the vaccination, do us all a favor by wearing a mask. Do us all a favor by covering up to protect not only yourself, but to protect those that are around you and your loved ones, just in case you have contracted COVID yourself.
Amen. I totally agree with that. How did getting COVID and overcoming, you're still overcoming, uh,
Mm-hmm.
how did it change your life? Or
Oh,
how did it
wow.
change your insight or
Yeah, I can tell you um, the importance of real people in your
Mhm.
life,
Yeah.
real people, not people on Facebook that you don't really know.
Yeah.
I'm talking about your people
Mm.
that got your back, that that are there for you when you're not strong enough to be there for yourself, really.
Yeah.
I learned, I've always known what, and always valued friendship,
Yeah.
always. That's just who I am.
Yeah.
Um, but even greater at this point. Um, and when you say how it has affected me and or changed my life, I would have to say, in many ways, I see things different. I see life differently. I see
Mhm.
human humans differently. Um, and you know, some of the things that would upset me in the past, I rethink those things when I'm in that moment and
Mhm.
tell myself, you know, it's really not that important that you yelling in your car because they pulled out in front of you. They don't hear you anyway. You know what
Yeah.
I like?
Yeah.
Let it go.
Let it
Don't
go.
trip. There's other
Mhm.
things that are way more important than somebody pulling out in front of me in traffic. I didn't run into them. I didn't hit them. I didn't hit nobody else trying not to hit. Calm down, Ferrell. Just calm
Yeah.
down, brother. Calm down.
Yeah.
You know. So you see things differently as it relates to that. And then you also think about, for me, my experience is the things that I've wanted to do that I've not done, and why,
Oh,
and
okay.
why. And so at this point, as I gave it a lot of thought, Cindy, it's like, honestly, a lot of things that I wanted to do, I've done. I really have. But I
Yeah.
also know, because God has spared me,
Mhm.
that there is much more that I need to do.
Okay.
And I've been given and afforded the opportunity to still be here to do some of those things.
Well, I thank God for you and your testimony and you being a light and sharing your story because, that's what it's all about is sharing. And so I hope to help somebody or that somebody would listen and hear your story and get encouraged to go and get vaccinated.
Yes, yes, by all means. And there are people that I know that are not vaccinated, and I will try and tell them to get vaccinated. But once I've said it so many times, I'm not going to say it again. And it goes back to what I said a moment ago. We all
Yeah,
have choices, but
absolutely.
if you're not going to get vaccinated, at least at minimum, wear a mask.
Wear a mask. Yeah,
Yeah, wear a
wear a
mask,
mask.
not just
That's
to
the
protect
least.
you, but to protect others.
That's the least. That's the least we can do. That's the least
Y-
we can do.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Well, um, what's next for you? What do you think? What do you think your plans will be? You said you pretty much did some of everything that you wanted to do or set out to do with success, I may add. And where do you think your journey will lead you now?
You know what? That's something I've been thinking about.
Yeah,
Um, and I can't help but to think about it.
yeah,
And ask myself, okay, God, you still have me here.
yeah.
I just had 2 or 3 friends to pass just the other day, and I'm still here.
Wow.
What
Yeah,
is
wow.
it that I'm supposed to be doing in this moment? As
Okay.
I said earlier, a part of that is to share the message.
Yeah.
Another reason, another thing that I want to do, and I've always wanted to do this as well, and I've just not done it yet, is my first stage play.
Oh,
Uh, I'm excited about writing my first stage play, and
wow.
many parts of my life will be a part of the stage play.
Yeah.
That's something I want to do, and I always want to convey a message whenever I do something.
Yeah.
And there will definitely be many messages
Yeah.
conveyed in my stage play. So I'm excited about that, and hopefully we can get that on the stage next year. That is
Okay.
what the hope is. I also have a book that I'm working on
Mm-hmm.
um, as well. It'll be my third edition of the Skin I'm In series
Yeah.
that will be out before December. I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
And that's just some of the stuff that I have planned and I have going on, in addition to studio life. As you know, my studio life takes up my life.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
every day I'm just crazy busy, and I thank God for that. Um, and another thing that this is something that happened to me, Cindy. I have to share this with you.
Yeah.
When my clients schedule appointments, there's a session fee that has to be paid in advance before you come into the studio.
Mm-hmm.
And during my illness, I had to shut the studio down for close to 2 months,
Wow.
where I could not work because I was in too
Yeah.
bad a shape to work,
Yeah. You
you
were
know?
sick.
And
Mm.
yeah. And as a entrepreneur, you know that's two
Yeah.
months off from work is not good,
Yeah.
because the bills still got to be paid, you
Yes.
know?
Mhm.
But I had a client that had paid a session fee to me, and I wasn't able to do the session. I wasn't able to do this. It was impossible.
Yeah.
And I'm on my deathbed, literally, after getting this information from the doctors,
Yeah.
trying to, she asked me for a refund. I told her, I said, I'm really sick right now.
Yeah.
If you can hang on until I'm better, because I'm just believing that I'll be better,
Yeah.
then we can, reconvene with your session. And she was like, no, well, I just want my money back now. And I'm like,
Wow.
really? You know what I mean?
Wow.
It
Yeah.
was like,
You're on your deathbed.
literally. And
That
I'm
is
trying to
so
go on my account and figure out how to get this lady her money back. And I can't even think clearly, you
yeah,
know. In the
yeah,
midst of that, I'm trying to satisfy a client and send her this little money back because,
yeah,
if had it been me, I would have been like, hey, keep that, get better, focus on healing right now.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Just
Yeah,
some
that's a humane
consideration.
thing to do. Put some consideration.
When I tell you I was blown away, I was
Oh,
blown
wow.
away. And and
Wow.
and and that was one of the things that really blew my mind in the mid. I mean, because I'm like, you don't know how sick I am. I am
Yeah,
literally on my deathbed dying, trying to get a few $100s to you,
yeah.
you
Wow.
know?
Wow.
So insensitive people, I have a problem with that. I
Yeah.
have a problem with that. I really do. And
Mm-hmm.
you just learn about people. There were
Mm-hmm.
certain people that
Mm-hmm.
that that I knew what had happened to me, and I just knew they would reach out because we know each other very well, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
expecting to hear from you because I'm not able to just reach out, because of
Yeah.
my condition, and I
Right.
never heard from certain people that I just thought were so close. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you learn a lot. You learn a
Yeah.
lot about people, along this journey, and so much more. But I tell you what,
It does.
I
It
am
teaches you.
thankful. I am so thankful to
Mm-hmm.
be here. I'm thankful to have a voice because at one point I could hardly even talk. I'm
Yeah.
thankful to be able to walk because at one point I could hardly even walk.
Yeah.
To
Yeah.
get in my car and drive to work, I couldn't do it at first.
And
You
you
know?
know what? It's just the little things that we take for granted, in life. We take
Yeah.
breathing for granted. We take walking for granted. We just take everything for granted. But it's all
Yes.
about the grace of God that we're able to even do it.
Yes. Yes.
It's in Him that we live, move, and have our being. It's through Him, totally.
Yes.
So, He does a very good job in making us think it's us, but it's really Him pulling all the
Absolutely.
strings,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Well, I just
Absolutely.
want to say thank you so much again, Ferrell. Much healing to you.
Thank
My
you.
husband and I, we're going to keep you in our prayers as always, and keep us in your prayers as well,
Thank you.
because you're such a great human being. And like you said, God have you here for a reason, and I believe that will be revealed to you as you continue on your journey.
Yeah, I believe that too.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Thank you so much. And until next time, thank you for watching the Cindy Davis Show. Until next time, God bless.